So then we're on the plane and they flew us directly into Banda Aceh to the airport. So I'm pretty sure it was the second cargo flight that was going in. So we went in and they had all the supplies, all the gasoline, all the just different things. There was nurses, there was doctors, and there's all the troops and whatnot.
The plane trip there was kind of tough. We were trying to prepare emotionally. Scott told us that we'd be seeing dead bodies, and that was kind of a given. Like, we kind of knew that. We were only 2.5 days after it happened. We finally landed, and we got out of the plane.
Getting there was surreal, just to pass by these huge open trenches. Still, they're digging huge mounds of dirt with all the bodies lined up, just buried in mass graves. Of course, the smell, it has a smell that I'll never forget. Probably it's the smell of a mix of dead bodies and of broken sewer lines and trash everywhere. I mean, the smell was pretty strong.
The destruction obviously was unreal. I think it was Colin Powell or one of the U.S. guys who went in. He said all the war scenes that I've been to in the last few years, I've never seen destruction to that magnitude ever. So, I mean, the destruction was unreal. I mean, there's bodies still everywhere.
We decided that the best place to go would be to find the hospital. So we asked a couple guys, where's the hospital? Like, we wanted some direction. We wanted a system already set up that we could jump into and put all of our energy into. There wasn't anything.
This is by far the craziest thing I've ever done, and most challenging. Let's go outside and take a look at what's going on. I've been doing the easy stuff, just trying to clean this place up. It was a trash bin. We basically just had to take charge because nobody knew what to do. There's tons of people here bashed up, bashed in, and they don't know where to get the medicine, where anything is. We have doctors now that are here performing surgery, cutting legs open, stitching together stuff. And we're gonna go out there and take a quick look, and then I'm gonna get back to work.
When we got to the hospital in Aceh, actually it's a temporary new hospital that was being made. The main hospital in Aceh was totally destroyed by the tsunami. All the doctors were killed, all the nurses were killed, all the medicine destroyed. And so this city that is in desperate need of medical care had no hospital.
The first day we arrived, we showed up. There were just patients, people laying everywhere. There was no clean water. A lot of the rooms were still locked up.
So we walked in and we're like, okay, this is it. This is where we're staying. And one of the doctors, one of the organizers, just came and we told him why we were there for, and he says, great, you guys can take this wing, and kind of pointed a couple things to us and basically gave us this whole wing that was for us to take care of, which is pretty bizarre because we were there to help. We were not really medically trained. Probably the most medically trained would be Scott, who had done some search and rescue stuff and some basic training.
The first day we arrived, we showed up. There were just patients, people laying everywhere. And then before we knew it, there's just a full-on line. And those were people those weren't even the patients that were in the hospital that were in really, really critical situations. Those are just people just coming in off the streets, and we just had person after person after person all day.
Basically, Scott and I just set up a little base where we could start treating people. Samuel and Raleigh went out just to start organizing things. They got enlisted really quick in moving dead bodies. There's a lot of people dying there in the hospital, just still laying there. So Samuel and Raleigh went ahead and started doing that.
That second day, most of those patients that were in the critical part in our thing, they all died. So we'd make the rounds, find the people who died, have to put sheets over them, carry them out. And there was a place outside the hospital where we'd put them. And then literally, they would go out, and before the cot was even clean with all the blood and everything, there'd be a new patient there.
The second part of that day, I had to get dead bodies out of our area to make room for other people.
The two main things that people were suffering from were these wounds that were pretty decent sized flesh wounds, very dirty, that had happened from being in the tsunami, just having just big gouges. And this is now 2 to 3 days after. They haven't been treated at all. They're still just very contaminated. Basically, people just tie a t-shirt around it. So we'd untie their makeshift bandage and there'd be this wound that would be just extremely infected. That infection would go through their whole body, in their blood, and we'd watch people slowly die. Once their blood goes septic, there's nothing we could do at that point. And we knew that they would basically die in another day. So that was, once I started realizing that, it just became so urgent to help all these people. And you just walk through the halls and you just see it over and over and over, these wounds that are just getting worse and worse and worse and about ready to spread.
There's Rolly. This is our new place to stay. The sad part is the people that used to sleep on here died. Sad. This is the nicest place we've seen. And we teamed up with those guys. The Orange Star, or Orange Cross, whatever it's called. But that's where we're at. We're staying at the hospital, and pretty soon we're gonna go. Pulling bodies from the just around. It's the worst job.
I don't think really anything could prepare you for this, unless you were in a war, unless you were training in boot camp or something.
Just as chaotic pretty much as you can imagine. It's like the emergency room times 10 with no doctors. The thing that I found, no matter what we did for the people, what kind of medicine we gave them, how well we cleaned their wound or bandaged them up, the best medicine was a smile, and just being able to smile and look people in the eyes. And you communicate so much just in a smile and your actions. And so I just remember just going through, I wouldn't wear my mask, and Samuel and Ira were like, hey, well, you don't have your mask on. I said, guys, we got to take our mask off. Like, honestly, like, with our mask on, they can't see a smile, and a smile is worth everything. A smile is what's going to get these people through, like fully giving them hope and bringing that joy into a place where it doesn't exist. Like, that's our responsibility. That's what we're here to do.